All right, everybody, I'd like to welcome you to our May PAB board meeting. Thank you for joining us online and in person. We'll start off with introductions.
Sherry Walker Clark, Interim Executive Director.
Rabbi Doris Settle, Northwest Council seat on the board.
Keith Patterson, Alliance Board seat.
Great evening, Arlene Brown, and I hold an alliance seat. Again, I want to thank you all for taking the time to spend with us to help us do this work.
Larry Knox, board chair and Northwest seat.
Daniel Cadet, line C.
Barry Wambach, and an alliance appointed.
Thank everybody for joining us. We'll start off with approval of the meeting minutes. We emailed out a couple times in advance, and you have them before us. Any
I
changes?
would like to move that the minutes be accepted as delivered.
Second.
Okay. All in approval of the minutes? Thank you. And those will be online shortly, so you can read them yourself. All right, start off with the staff report.
There'll be a few different staff members reporting, but I'll start out just sharing that we know we're getting ready to transition to new leadership, and so we're working with staff in terms of professional development, transition, and change, and all those things. That's not an easy thing to do, so we're doing some professional development and group level and individual level to get ready for the change that's going to be happening. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to re-present the PAB to a city council work group. We presented a PowerPoint. We did this last year for the first time because I had received feedback that many of the council members in the community weren't so clear on what the PAB was doing and what it was all about. So last year provided a great opportunity for us to provide that information for members in preparation for the budget hearing that will be later this month. So we did the same thing yesterday, and we actually had the chance to share the highlights of the past year, a lot of the changes, a lot of the improvements that have been made, accomplishments, as well as the challenges. And we still continue to have challenges. There continue to be barriers to us receiving this is information we really need to conduct thorough investigations. So that is something Larry's going to talk more about. I think then the deputy director and general counsel may talk more about that as well. So those things continue to interfere with us doing fair, thorough, and even timely investigations. Continue with that. The conversation yesterday was very engaging. It was informative. Felt like it was helping us to build momentum to move forward. We would love to have a more of a collaborative opportunity to make things happen based on what the charter has required us as the PAB to do. So we're going to have more conversations and whatever else needs to happen because we're required to fulfill that. There were 5 council members. We were supported by 2 board members. We had staff there that was great. The management team did an awesome job presenting. And Melissa, thank you for stepping in yesterday as well. And I had the chance to, while there were 5 yesterday, our liaison, Councilmember Smith, was made aware of the information in advance, as well as Councilmember Mike got that information. So now I'm going to invite any questions. I'm going to invite the staff members to come up. Dijon, look ready. And then we'll go to Vanessa. And Tamika, I don't know if you have anything to share as well. We'll go to Dolores and then Ben.
Before that, I just want to say one of those board members who was there yesterday, what an incredible job the staff did. And really all the honor to you, whatever you.
Good evening. My name is Dejan Paul, Director of Policy and Oversight for the Rochester Police Accountability Board. We are in the process of wrapping up our protest policy proposal for change. We are still waiting on feedback from a few board members. Even if you have no recommended changes, just email us and let us know so we can move forward with that process. We are close to concluding our second oversight investigation, this one zeroing in on the topic of the collective bargaining agreement, or the CBA, its disciplinary components. That's our upcoming work. Any questions?
Well, not a question really. It's just I'm having I'm gonna sound like a lot of other folks on the board, a difficult time trying to send information that I'm drafting via email, because I know that's the last thing you're talking about that before, because we were trying to we're suggesting. Like I'm getting this weird like I just have to keep refreshing it over and over again. I know the whole IT situation. I'm just having a hard time myself because I do have this problem. I already mentioned it before. I have a couple of comments, but this has been hard doing it via email. Okay. So it's probably big here for me is because I'm having a hard time working from my office and sending anything to email and suggestions to Will or anything like that.
Okay. Are a few of you having that same issue? Okay. Well, after the rest of the staff presents, I'll come up and try to troubleshoot both.
Gotcha.
Can you talk a little bit about just some of the barriers you've run into with getting your work done with your staff, with requests from RPD and the city?
Sure. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to look at the juvenile use of force report to get a sense of some of the barriers that we've run into with both RPD and Corporation Counsel. We've requested information, at least in regards to that investigation. We requested reports from 2018 to 2023. We were limited to, I think it was 2021 and forward, which is when they changed their policy around how they handle juveniles. We were told we couldn't be able to look at data from before because it wasn't relevant, but our staff was looking to do a comparative analysis to see whether the change had a positive impact on the way juveniles were treated. Unfortunately, we couldn't complete that analysis without that data. That's one example. Another example is in our cost of misconduct analysis, which is ongoing work we hope to have done in the next fiscal year. We started that project in August of 2023. We have run into several issues with collecting data. For example, when we submitted our initial source of information request seeking claims from 2012 forward, we were told that we were not entitled to that as the city's corporation counsel is the sole determinant of settlements. Therefore, it's not relevant to policing practices, policies, patterns, or procedures. However, some of the misconduct claims can show patterns and show what sort of behaviors lead to settlements and lawsuits across taxpayer dollars, which is ultimately, what we're chartered to do. And we're not limited to just access to RPD data. The charter is actually pretty clear. It states that we can seek information from any department within the city, including the law department, who's also, representing us as well. We were denied that SOI on the basis that I've said. We then thought, well, let's put in a full request, Freedom of Information Law request, because it is public information. Since we are part of the city, we were told we were not able to FOIL for information. And luckily, our partners at the Police Accountability Board Alliance were able to step in and FOIL and share that information with us. We discovered subsequently, sometime in, say, December-ish, that there was still missing data from those, from the records that were shared. We submitted a secondary FOIL. We're still waiting on that information. We also had a meeting with Captain Swetman and Patrick Beef, Corporation Counsel, and we were able to get some progress. That was about 3 weeks ago. Since then, they turned over significant amounts of data. That's going to be, it's going to take quite some time to go through and analyze. But the dragging of a single project like cost misconduct should have taken probably about 6 months. Looks like we'll probably go a full year before it's complete. The constant denials, the constant meeting, the constant limitations greatly impacts our work, not only sometimes prevents us from completing the sort of thorough and robust analysis we hope to, but also it makes us, it makes the likelihood of us meeting our KPIs in a timely manner kind of unlikely at times because of those drawbacks. So,
Thank you. Any other questions?
all right, thank you all.
Thank you. That's what I'm good.
Hello, everyone.
Great evening.
My name is Vanessa Cheeks. I'm the press officer and communications manager for the Police Accountability Board, filling in for Natalie Banks, who's the director. Talk slower. Just a few updates from our division. Currently, we are in the planning stage of a Know Your Rights training and workshop that will be in partnership with the Public Defender's Office. And so once we have more details, we'll be able to share that with you guys, also with the public, but we're really excited to work on that and present it and make it available for the community. The Police Accountability Board is hiring for multiple positions. So we have 8 current positions in our communications staff, just me, I posted on the website. So they are all available on the website currently. It will be up, I believe, until about between May 25th and the 28th.
And what is that website?
rockpab.org. Thank you so much. We've also posted the listings on social media. We've also sent out an email blast to people who are signed up for our newsletter and our email server. And to that end, we also are getting ready to send out our spring newsletter at the end of June. And so if we're just encouraging people to sign up at rockpab.org to sign up for that newsletter to get a lot of great information right to their inbox. And also we would like to welcome to our team Tamika Jones. Tamika's in the audience. Tamika was recently promoted to community engagement manager. She was originally signed on as a community engagement specialist, but we were really impressed with the work that she's done in the short 2 months that she's been with us, and we were eager to harness that work in a management position to set a goal and a trend for that work in our division. And she's already been out and about in the community, so people might have seen her. I know the people at the Swan Neighborhood Center are already just in love with her. And so we're very excited and happy to welcome her aboard, and I'll take any questions if you have them. Pretty easy stuff. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Dolores Page, Director of Case Management. So we'll give you a little update in regards to the Case Management Division. As of April 30th, we've received 16 reports. Out of those 16, 3 have been closed. So the cases received for fiscal year 23-24 has been a total of 157 so far. The case management team currently consists of 3 full-time case managers, and they have a caseload of about 230 cases. The case managers also completed a 2-day peace training, and it stands for planning and preparation, engage and explain, account, clarification and challenge, closure and evaluate. That training just helped and assisted the case managers with the intake process, and they gave some mock interviews as well, so that they, when reporters come in, they're better able to assist. I'm currently interviewing for the 4th case manager. That should wrap up at the end of this week, and hoping to extend an offer the next couple of weeks and have someone hired by mid to late May. I also want to introduce my case manager bilingual, Anna Lily Taylor. She's here as well. She started with the division on April 1st.
I have a question.
Yes.
Just from the training, what was one change or adjustment that you've made or considering making to the intake process?
Just gathering the information, ensuring that we're getting the critical data, and ensuring that it's updated in the detailed reports. I think it was more geared toward investigations, but we could pull some of that information provided so that they're better able to assist.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see everyone here. Hello to everyone in the audience and watching at home. We really appreciate your interest. I'm Ben Whitler. I'm the Deputy Executive Director and General Counsel to report on investigations as we continue to attempt to fill the Director of Investigations role. It's been an extremely productive month for the Investigations Department and for the council and for the board members sitting at this table. This board met 3 times since the last board meeting to review investigative reports and close out cases with findings regarding misconduct. Met on the 12th, 26th, and 30th of April, and during that time, we reviewed and closed out 9 separate investigations, all of which have been sent to the Chief of Police. In fact, we sent 15 total investigative reports to the Chief of Police this month, counting some that have been pending from prior to the last meeting. We have received a response on 1 of those 15, but the time has not run on their time to respond, so we're looking forward to hearing the thoughts from the chief on the investigative reports we've done and the results of those investigations. We don't intend to stop working at this pace. Sherry and I reviewed 2 closing reports today. Our investigators are working really hard, and we're just really excited about the productivity that we have. Really just appreciative of all the time that the board has given to providing their crucial role in closing out the investigations. Going forward, there are some challenges to our pending investigations that I think I just wanted to briefly note. On the 26th, we received a letter from the chief that stated, and also a letter from Monroe County District Attorney, Senator Dorley, and essentially it articulated a policy that when we are conducting a misconduct investigation that relates to a criminal prosecution, the police department is not going to give us any information until that investigation is concluded, which will obviously delay and imperil a lot of our investigations. We also received an email this past Monday, which was the 29th, from Corporation Counsel Patrick Keith and the attorney for the Locust Club, Matthew Rich. And this email was in response to 8 officer subpoenas that this board issued during the last meeting to have them come in and testify. And they told us that no officers will be coming in to testify. So the PAB still seeks that elusive first officer interview. These are some challenges that obviously we're going to try to address to try to still move forward on these investigations. John also asked me to mention one other thing. From his side, there's another policy investigation concerning mental health calls that turn into arrests, mental health calls that may result in a person being detained by our PD. Policy and Oversight is trying to do analysis to see how frequent that is. And unfortunately, the position of Corporation Counsel is that the police department won't turn over any information related to mental health calls. And that obviously affects individual investigations as well as the policy analysis. So a lot of productivity this month, a lot of roadblocks as well, and we continue to move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes separate.
Thank you to everybody, new staff and established staff. A lot of good work increasing every month. Really appreciate that. And you'll be able to see some of those details on our website as our reports go up and as the work for the policy team is posted. Start off now with the chair's report. I guess the first thing I'll say, kind of going off what Benjamin and Sherry referred to was, the barriers to our work. we've been talking about this for almost 2 years now, from when the agency opened. There were some self-imposed barriers maybe at the beginning, but we're far from that now, and to the point now that we've constantly been working and trying to work with our partners to get what the people wanted, which is full accountability, access to data, and a quick turnaround on their cases. Our previous director of investigations, Benjamin, now being here and only for not even a month yet, and seeing what we've been going through. Our current board members who've been here for a while, like Dora and Arlene, and our newer board members, Bill Clark, who's the mayor's appointee, wasn't able to make it tonight, have all seen, over the last, year or two, the issues that have been put in front of us in regards to not being able to do the work of the agency. So part of our meeting, we won't go to everything we talked about with council, but part of that was that frustration, which we've addressed with them before, and I feel there's a new sense of urgency about working with us to address those. There are other means that we could take as a board, which we'll probably discuss in executive session again about if that isn't resolved. But as you bring in new leadership this year, we don't want to be here at the end of the year or a year from now still having the same kind of discussion over what our staff and what our new leadership are not able to get on behalf of the public. So it's different when we're new and we're trying to work through things, and maybe we don't have a lawyer on staff and we're trying to figure this out, and everybody's new to the work, but it's been long enough now, and even talking with and working with our outside counsel, Andrew Brown, who is also in agreement that the barriers we've had in front of us are not what the charter says and not what the public expects. So we're continuing at this moment to work together, but there is, I think, less and less of a matter of patience among the board, and even less in the community in regards to those barriers being in front of us to do the work that is needed. You can't do accountability if the people that you're supposed to do that accountability with or over are controlling what information you get. It just that doesn't work. That hasn't worked. We're willing to be reasonable. We're willing to work. We're willing to work within the law. But if you don't have a legal reason and it's based off feelings about why we don't get something, that doesn't work in court, and it shouldn't work with the work that we do in the Police Accountability Board. So we'll see what happens over the next month. But I do want to say that as we're in a different place as a board and as an agency, we may be somewhere different with how we address not getting what is needed and what is expected by the public to do our work. Also, in regards to the future of the agency, we do have an ongoing search that is going for our executive director, our new executive director. I stopped asking Sherry if she is going to apply, and she definitely didn't. So that ship has way sailed. I think I've asked since March, maybe.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah. So that there is that process is still going on. There'll be more information about that, later in the month and into next month. But we are far into that process of talking to a potential new leadership in regards to an executive director. And Sherry won't be going far. She does live in town, so we'll be relying on her for help on occasion. But she has put in more than enough time and more than expected with our agency. So we do want to thank her again for that. And we'll thank her in a bigger way later in the year. But that committee, the firm, has done a lot of good work. We've had meetings with stakeholders, in that process of figuring out where we are going to be going with the new leadership is further and further along. And I do want to say, in regards to the work that the board has been doing, the appointed board, we do have multiple review panels now. For the longest time, we just had 3 of us that were doing reviews, but now a lot more members of the board have been doing reviews of cases, so it's multiple review panels. And pretty much every board member has observed at least 1 or 2 reviews before they get into doing the reviews. But that's really helped out in getting different perspectives, spreading the work, and everybody being able to do that. And again, I say again, I haven't said it yet, but everybody on this board is a volunteer, so we're putting in more than an hour to a week in this work, and the review panels is a lot more work. Those, each case could be up to an hour to, at least an hour to 2 or 3 oftentimes to make sure that we're doing, the work. And sometimes we have, board members coming in just to observe, where they're not actually even having a vote on that panel, but just observe it before they get into the doing the work on with the panel themselves. So again, that is happening. That's what the public wants, and we are getting those cases done as quickly as we can. But I do know as a board, and this has happened with some of the cases, there's questions and ideas and understandings that we want to have. There's a lack of information, which affects what our recommendations are. And sometimes those can be resolved by, having the staff look at something else that maybe they didn't think about. But majority of the time it's because they don't have the information and aren't able to get it. And that gets in the way of our work. And that's, again, as we get into more and more of these panels, we were seeing that more and more often. And that was work that wasn't happening 2 years ago. That's definitely happening now. And that's a barrier that can't stand. Regards to training, I know the staff, it was mentioned earlier, has been going through a lot of training. This is new work in our country. Going through the board process of finding new leadership. It was interesting just about how new this is, where there aren't a lot of people that have been doing this work for like 30, 40 years, or have 25 years of experience in this direct field. So that training is really important to make sure that we know the newest ideas, the newest policies, the newest ways of doing the work. So I'm glad that we do have training for the staff. The board also has done NACO training. We'll be doing more of that, and we are in the midst of hiring somebody on the staff that will be doing that training work full time, working in that department. So I know that position was changed a bit to make that happen. That was reported last meeting, but that will be a continuing work, since we have to make sure we're up to date as a board and as a staff. Any questions for me?
Nope.
Okay.
Where?
Yes, Aaron.
Come on. Thank you. I really would just like to restate a few things because the dialogue has been very fast and some of it was difficult. I think that anyone in the public with a complaint who's concerned that it's not yet closed. Staff are working as hard as they can. They're very committed. The board is working as hard as they can. When we have delays, it's because we're denied access by the police or other systems or groups. We hope that you will bear with us. We depend on the support of the public to get funding so that we can continue investigation and also that we can continue to fight for access to the information that we need in order to investigate those cases.
Thank you, Mary.
Dovetailing on what Mary just said, we're all in this together. Everybody wants safety for every member of the community. And it's not us against them. It's all of us wanting to have safety in Rochester reimagined. Because what we have going on now is not working for the community. And as community members, we need you all to step up, put in reports, call, talk. We may not be getting the results that you would like, but at least we're moving forward to try and get things done. I had an opportunity to see a few police officers walking on the streets the other day. I was shocked. It's the first time I've seen officers out of the cars and walking in a very, very long time. And by the same token, if you see someone an officer who's going above and beyond, who has done something that is outstanding, let us know. Because it's not all about punishment, but recognizing those who are vested in the community, showing that they are vested in the community, so we can use them as examples of this is how it should be done, this is what we're looking for. We as community members are doing all that we can, and we want it to work for everybody.
Oh, no, I just want to say that I think that since I've been here, that we have actually got the ball moving because we stayed steadfast and we're unmovable. And once again, I would like to piggyback off of what Arlene said. If the community really truly want a safe community, it is not just the responsibility of the police officers or this PAB board. It's the responsibility of each and every parent out there or guardian or friend or neighbor to keep your neighborhood, your community safe. So instead of the mindset of, I want to say, some people don't see stuff, don't want to report it to the police or report it to the people who need to be reported to, I think you need to step up and come out of that mindset and do what you need to do, because if somebody's on your corner doing something they ain't got no business doing, you need to dial 911 or 311 or somebody and let the people know exactly what's going on. So I just, we have to vote. We have to also stand up for our community. All right? If we want the right thing done, we have to do it. Not the government, not the church, not anybody else, but each individual person must stand up for their community and do what they're supposed to do to keep safety going. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Wilson. Last thing I'll say is kind of, I guess, piggyback off both those things. If you don't have a particular complaint, we do have a policy team, which you heard from earlier. If you have an idea about the way things should be done differently, that's not about a particular incident or a particular moment, but just about the way things work within law enforcement with RPD and the city or us. We have a department for that. And I will say, talking with other boards, we've networked and met with other similar accountability boards across the country and across the state. Not everyone has that. Not every board has a policy team that's able to do that more forward-thinking work. So we do have that here. You don't have to be a policy expert to have an idea. You can just be why doesn't this happen, or why doesn't that happen, or what call? And we have a good team that will address that, along with complaints you have about particular incidents or circumstances. All right, on to old business. Any old business? New business? All right, I'd like to make a motion to move to executive session to discuss potential legal matters, decisions, and also personnel decisions, which is the executive search and be direct what we're talking about there.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? I'm not anticipating any votes in executive session, but we will come back to close out at some point. But if you're waiting to hear back from a vote, don't plan on voting on anything in executive session, which we would report. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. Oh, we did? Okay. Okay, I thank you, Benjamin. There may be a vote on something, so I may be reporting out a vote. All right, thanks. All right, we took two, welcome back. We did an executive session. We did take two votes on two matters. The first vote was 5 in favor. First vote was 6 in favor and 1 abstention. The second vote was 5 in favor, one recusal, and 1 abstention. And those are all the votes taken in executive session. Those are in regards to subpoenas and motion to adjourn. All right. Thank you for watching. Good night.